The Grand Egyptian Museum has opened up a new area with 10 statues of the Pharaoh Senusret I on display. In this video, in addition to showing you this brand new area of the Grand Egyptian Museum, I'm also going to talk about buying tickets to get to the Grand Egyptian Museum, what else is currently on display at the gem, getting to and from the museum, and also the museum's opening date. With a spoiler alert, we still don't know when it is, but I got to look at the outside of some of the unopened galleries and areas of the museum, and I have some thoughts. And if we haven't met already, my name is Gus. I started Egypt Adventures Travel to help more people make successful and memorable trips to Egypt. I also lead my own group tours, I arrange private tours, and I also make customized itineraries. So you can feel free to head to my website and get in touch with me. I would love to hear about your Egypt adventure. I follow developments about the Grand Egyptian Museum very, very closely because I know that all of my viewers are eagerly anticipating any updates we have about what will be Egypt's largest museum when it finally fully opens. So I was really surprised last week in mid-May when I was at the Grand Egyptian Museum with some of my guests and I saw a brand new area opened up to the public because I hadn't read anything about it, nor had anybody said that this area had been opened. So I wanted to share this with my viewers. Even though it's a small area, I want to give everyone any tiny update I have about this amazing archaeological museum. The area that's recently been open to the public features 10 statues of the Pharaoh Senusret I. This area has been set up for a while now, but the Grand Egyptian Museum was meticulously preventing anyone from photographing or taking video of this area, which is why in all of my previous videos of the Grand Egyptian Museum, you won't see any footage of these statues of Senusret I. The museum staff kept saying that they're going to be waiting until the final opening of the museum before people are able to look at this gallery. However, it seems like since the gallery was ready, the museum, in line with their soft opening up galleries step by step, decided to let the public come up and inspect these statues up close. Senusret I was a Middle Kingdom Pharaoh, so he was a pharaoh of the time period in Egypt between the Old Kingdom pyramid builders and the New Kingdom temples and tombs that we see in Luxor and Aswan when we do our Nile cruise. And each statue in this gallery has a placard describing the statue and talking more about the pharaoh, where the statue was found, what time period it was found in. And this area makes a nice addition to the grand staircase further along the same section of the museum that houses many colossal statues. So if you decide to go to the Grand Egyptian Museum, you now, in addition to the grand staircase and the main atrium, can see these 10 statues of the Pharaoh Senusret I. Another new item on view at the Grand Egyptian Museum is this display showing different works of monumental ancient Egyptian architecture. The map starts south all the way at Abu Simbel and moves north along the Nile, showing different examples like pyramids, obelisks, temples, statues, and finishes at Alexandria and the Mediterranean Sea. Let's talk about how to buy tickets to the gem. Go to visit-gem.com, which is the official website for the Grand Egyptian Museum. At this point online, it's only possible to buy tickets that also include the Tutankhamun exhibit. So you want to go to this section that says Tutankhamun, the Immersive Exhibition, tap on that or click, and that's going to bring you to this site where you can buy tickets to visit the gem, which also include that immersive exhibition. Scroll down toward the bottom of the page, and the first thing you'll want to do is select the date of your visit. Be sure that this is the correct date, because if you don't pick the right date, your ticket will not scan. Select your English as your language, or whichever language that you want to do the tour in. Select the time, and that time is just for the Tutankhamun exhibit. Pick which type of ticket that you would like. Make sure that you're picking Arab or other nationality if you are from outside of Egypt. Expatriates only for those who are residing in Egypt as an expatriate with a work visa. If you want to add on that scavenger hunt, you can. And then enter in your contact information and payment, and you're good to go. In addition to buying tickets online and having them emailed to you, you can also buy tickets in person at the gem. The only time I don't recommend buying tickets in person is if you want to go to that Tutankhamun immersive exhibition, because usually the best time slots are available by booking that ahead online. How to get out to the Grand Egyptian Museum. This map shows the gem is right by the Giza pyramids, which is actually pretty far away from downtown Cairo, which is all the way up here. Tahrir Square is considered the center of downtown. I'll also show you where Cairo International Airport is, which is even further away from the Grand Egyptian Museum than downtown Cairo. So keeping this in mind with how far away the airport and downtown Cairo are, if you don't have a private transfer, I recommend taking Uber to get to and from the Grand Egyptian Museum. Here I'm showing taking Uber from Tahrir Square all the way out to the gem. And there aren't really any good public transit options to get out to the gem at this point. There's some construction going on outside the museum. So for me, if you don't have a private transfer, Uber is your best option. Let's talk about what else you can see at the Grand Egyptian Museum besides the new Senusret I Gallery. The Grand Staircase remains the best amount of artifacts on display at the gem. The staircase contains over 60 artifacts, different statues, elements taken from ancient Egyptian temples and tombs, and is very well laid out and displayed with placards talking about each artifact. The staircase goes up quite a ways, but there is a people mover along the side, like a moving walkway. There also is an elevator that is used for people who have a wheelchair, who have other mobility needs, and you're able to get out. See this flat area right here? You're able to get out at each of the different sections of the Grand Staircase to read about the theme of each section and look at the artifacts before getting back onto that moving walkway or elevator if needed. So this Grand Staircase is still the best thing, in my opinion, to check out when you go to the Grand Egyptian Museum. It culminates at the top with a gorgeous view of the Giza pyramids from the windows. Aside from the Grand Staircase, these two statues of a king and queen of the Ptolemaic period are on display, along with this column of the Pharaoh Merneptah, this statue of Ramses the Great that you have to go around the shopping area and restaurant area in order to see, and then of course the colossal statue of Ramses the Great that has captivated visitors to the gem since the museum first had its soft opening. The Tutankhamun Immersive Exhibition is also an option for visitors to the Grand Egyptian Museum. However, when I went to this exhibit, I thought it was pretty underwhelming. You're only in one room the entire time, sitting on a stool, watching this three-dimensional presentation. It's very, very limited on history and information about King Tut, and it's just a bunch of visual effects in one room for about 20 minutes or so. I think it's pretty captivating and interesting for children, maybe children between the ages of about 5 or 6 up to maybe age 12. Other than that, I don't see a lot of value in tourists going to this immersive exhibition, considering the really limited amount of history that it shows. So as you can see from all of these different video clips from the immersive exhibition, it's something that's probably better for children to go to. I don't really recommend it for adults who are interested in seeing the history or the ancient Egyptian artifacts. And outside the museum is what they call the Hanging Obelisk, an obelisk taken from Tanis, which, fun fact, this is actually me standing in the middle of the two severed pieces of the obelisk when I first went to Egypt back in 2012. So that's the only other thing that's on display at the gem at this time. The big question of when the Grand Egyptian Museum will finally fully open. When will all the Tutankhamun artifacts be on display? When will the Solar Boat Museum be open? When will the tens of thousands of Egyptian statues and objects and jewelry be available to the public? We still don't have an answer to that question, and I've stopped giving any type of estimates or updates about the gem's going to open in the fall or it's going to open in 2025 because we've been proven wrong time and time again about the Grand Egyptian Museum's opening date. But what I will say for the folks who are hoping that the museum will be fully open by the summer or by the fall of 2024, I think we're not going to be there anytime soon, because peeking around at some of these areas, like you'll notice the gallery that's off to the side of the Grand Staircase, they're still installing equipment. There still looks like the area is in a bit of disarray. The Solar Boat Museum, which is outside of the Great Hall, looks like there's still quite a bit of work to be done. So I don't anticipate the museum is going to be opening up anytime in the next few months. It's anyone's guess if they're going to open up by the end of 2024 or by the beginning of 2025. But of course, stay subscribed to my channel, get on my email list, which you can do by going to my website, follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I'll be posting any updates as I hear them about the Grand Egyptian Museum. Another great way you can stay informed is to set up a Google alert. You can go on Google and you can set up an alert to get notified anytime anything is written about the gem. I get a daily digest. It's an email from Google showing me all of the new articles or new websites that are popping up talking about the Grand Egyptian Museum. So a great way to stay on top of updates is to do that. But like this opening of the Senusret I Gallery, that was not announced, at least as far as I could find. It wasn't announced anywhere. I didn't know about it till I showed up at the museum in person. So I'll try to keep my viewers as updated as I can when we hear about any news about the Grand Egyptian Museum. Thanks for checking out this video. I love when folks leave comments and let me know their thoughts on the gem. If anybody has any questions to ask about the Grand Egyptian Museum, I'm happy to help as I can, and I will see you on the next video.